I picked up this 7-inch HD camera monitor. It says it's 1280 by 800 and it's super slim because I needed to be able to see myself sometimes while I record with my iPhone. So let's show you everything that comes in this box real quick, and then let's talk a little bit about it. I think this is pretty neat. There's all sorts of cool things that come with this camera monitor, and we'll get to that in just a moment. I do have a small complaint with it, and I'll address that as well. But this is the 7-inch monitor. You've got all your buttons along down here, and when you look here at the side, you've got a place to plug in power. You have an HDMI cable. You've got a upgrade USB location, and then you've got these three. This is an OSD controller, and this one is for headphones, and then this one is for your AV. If you do have a battery, and I believe that in the manual it mentions Sony camera batteries, you've got this battery plate to hook on a very specific. Refer to this manual, though, about which battery you will need. This monitor does not come with a battery, and this monitor does not come with a power source. So I don't have Sony cameras, so what I needed to do is buy a power source to make this thing work. And I bought this basic power source. This is a 12 volt 2 amp, and it works perfectly well. It's not a variable. You can't plug this into like a lot of different devices. It's just a very standard basic power source. And when you plug it in here and plug it in down here, it just works like that. So feel world, and then here's the blue screen HDMI. You can see it's powered on and it's working good. So I highly recommend to buy this power adapter if you want this item to work and you don't know a lot about power adapters like I don't. I want stuff to come with power so it works. So what else do we have in here? Well, we have this HDMI cable. Now this is what I would say a standard HDMI size to like a mini, and that's really cool, but I don't need one of these, so I had to get another small. I got this. This is a standard HDMI to standard HDMI. So I got that to replace this item, and you plug it in right there and got something cool here, and that is this item. This is an HDMI cable lock. And so how this works is, now this cord that I purchased is actually a little bit thicker here than the one that came with it. But you put this here, and you find the little hole here, and then you tuck this in, and it might stretch it out just a little bit. You screw this in, and what that is for is so that this HDMI cable doesn't fall out. Now, if I actually cranked this thing down and tightened it, it would work a lot better. There we go, it's fully tightened, but now it's not going to fall out, so you're not going to have an interruption in video service. I kind of wish there was a power cable lock or something for it. But that's pretty neat. I like having that option there. Let's get this off and continue. You get this thing and it says hot shoe mount. I thought this was cold since this has no power going through it, but it's a little ball tripod head, and it's meant to screw in the hole down here. So then you could attach this to a cage, or you could attach it to anything that's got a cold or a hot shoe, and then you can move it around like so. Just loosen this up and you can adjust it almost any which way you want to, and then you can crank this down and tighten that up, and then you've got a nice standard monitor base right there. Another thing that I find really neat is the sunshade. So you got this sunshade frame that you hook down onto this. You've got little places up here where you can snap this thing on, and then places down over here on the side where you can snap it in. It's a little bit difficult at first, but it'll snap. And then you've got the sunshade, and there's Velcro around the edge here. So you just go and you hook this on like that, and then you've got a nice sunshade. So if you're going to be outside or anywhere that might be a little bit glary, this is perfect, so you can just look in and view, and it kind of provides some darkness so you can see what you're doing. I probably won't need to use this a lot because I film a lot inside, but I can see how this would be very useful. And then the final thing I mentioned already earlier, there's the manual that tells you how to work this thing. This has been working really well for my setup, and I highly recommend this. It's been working perfect. There's a lot of options. The view is really nice, and to anyone who says you don't need this size of a monitor, well, before you listen to them, decide what your needs are, because for me, this is probably going to be about 5 to 6 feet away from me. I'm not going to be looking really close at it. And so I'm going to need the larger screen because of that distance. So judge for yourself what size of monitor you might need. I like this. It's light, and I think it's going to be easy to pack around. I'm going to get a special case for this and its supplies. And yeah, I recommend this. I like this. I'm really thrilled to have this item.